Hello guys, in this video we'll see how to create a basic level Flask app which works for both GET and POST requests. In the upcoming videos you will see how to build a proper Flask application that takes data and plays around with and returns. Let's start, shall we? So in order to work with Flask we have to install two modules. One, the Flask, and the other is request. Let's head over to our environment. I'll just activate it. And now I'll say pip install Flask. It has already been installed for me. And again pip install request. It has already been installed. Let's head over to our code. So first I'll do is import Flask, and from Flask I'll import request. Remember, request, not request. And JSONify. Okay, now I'll assign a variable for my Flask app, so I'll say flask, and I'll just initialize my Flask app. So like the main function, the Flask work for its own function too. Now I'll ask my application for routing. Let's say it is hosted on X server. So I want to say X slash, what it will say, it will go to, so I'm saying app dot route if only slash is there, so nothing is there after every home page. Let's say google.com, so there is a slash basically at the end. Okay, I'm asking if there is a slash at the end, where it will head. For the methods we can allow get for now. Okay, sorry, at the rate app dot route. So I'm asking it to go define home. I'm assigning it a function, and I'm asking it to return an HTML content, say h1, and say Flask app is working for you. Let's start the Flask application. So app.run host, a local host, so I'll say 127.0.0.1, comma port as 80. Okay, and threaded equal to true. If I run this, so it says it is running on a development server. However, if you want to shift it to production, you have to use the WSGI module. One of the ways is to work with the Apache. I'll tell you in my other videos how to install Apache and work with the WSGI module. But for now, let's say if this our API is working, I'll head over to my Postman and I'll hit a get. Tell it my address. So this is 127.0.0.1 and slash, and this is my get request. I'll hit send, and it says the Flask app is working for you. So it is also integrating h1, so I'll remove because this is not an HTML content. That is why it is showing other. So you can see that I although entered 80 port over here, but I didn't mention 80 over here. Why is that? Because the default port is 80. If I mention any other port, let's say I quit this one and I'll run this program again, and I'll mention my port as 5000, and I run it again and I'm trying to hit it, it'll say it is not there because I'll have to mention the port. So I'll hit colon 5000 and then send, then see at this port my application is working. Okay, now let's configure with the post request. Let's say I'm saying at the rate app dot route, I'm saying if it goes to slash get, like get me some data, I'm saying methods equal to either be get or post, or post. Then I'm assigning it a function as get, and I'm saying whatever the parameters you're getting, just give me it in a form format so that I can read it in a dictionary. So why I mentioned it request over here, because any payload that we receive from the server, it comes into the variable named request within the Flask. So anything that we'll receive it in the request. So I'm asking it to a readable dictionary format. I need to convert that form so that I can read in the params. Now, if my params is not bool, sorry, not bool param. So I'm saying if param is not available, let's say it's false, so it will not go there. Uh, if my param is not false, so it will go there. Sorry. What it will do is it will extract the data from here, params. Let's say now we will just assign the dictionary format in the params itself again. So request dot get underscore JSON force equal to true, and this are actually the param. What is that saying? Okay, params. This is params. Now for I in params, I'll create an empty dictionary as request over here, and I'm entering the data within our dictionary itself. So request I equal to params I. Okay. So the value within the params, I contain it within the request itself. Else, for I in params, I'm saying the request I will contain the params. Then if it was false value, then it would contain some issue. So this is the issue I'm capturing over here. Now I'm saying that I receive a payload name original over here. So in the original value as a variable, I'm saying the payload that I received was named original. So in request I can see the key value as original, and I'm taking the value for that key in the original val, and I'm saying if original val double equal to name, then return JSONify response as this is correct. If the value is not according to mine, then I will say it as return JSONify response as this is not correct. If I run my application again and I head over to the post format, I'm saying I'm asking to enter the original key and the name as its value. Okay, why is it not working? Because I have run it on port 5000. Let's go there and go for the port this. We run this and say it says this is correct. Now if I change the name over here, if I enter anything else other than name, this says this is not correct, because if it doesn't return over here, it returns over there. So that's how we handle the JSON data over here. You can mention anything else also, let's say blah blah, but it doesn't matter for him. Sorry, uh, sorry, here, because I have not considered the blah blah value over here. So only valid values what it requires, it will consider it. It doesn't matter what I am sending over here. If I send name, it will say this is correct because it is only working with the original key. So I guess we are done with the Flask application over here. New video will be out soon for the complete Flask application handling with the payload data.